This is the woman project. Jesus at the center. Daughters of the promise. Stronger when we surrender.
Welcome to the Women's Project. I am Ilonka.
And I am frazzled. I am Summer Elliott.
We have an incredible episode planned for you. Here at the Women's Project, we keep it real, we laugh, we don't hold back, but more importantly, we go deeper with our relationship with Jesus.
Yes, I need some Jesus right now. So my day started off, Ilonka, because I really had this all mapped out and it was going to be amazing.
Our first episode ever. Our first episode ever, right? Yeah.
And this has just been, you should see what's between my legs. I mean, that's where I'm starting. This is insane. So I started off with Walmart. So I go to crazy Walmart, right? And that was a mess. I was on the phone with you. I'm like, the lines are wrapped around, whatever. So I go to the music store.
Give perspective. We're doing this because we're launching this podcast. We're two friends who love each other, and God gave us an idea to do this women's podcast. And Summer needed a mic stand, and she didn't have a mic stand. So we started this process 3 hours ago.
Yes. And I've been in 2 different locations. Yes, it's been hilarious. And I've been sweating and I really wanted to look cute. And I finally just found a hat that I threw on. No idea where I got this from, but here we go. I am, look like I'm going to go wrestle some crocodiles and I'm ready. I'm about to go across the street to the Dollar General for some very cheap white wine.
Woo-hoo! What we do to stay calm. And in the midst of it all, we have kids at home and trying to keep spaces quiet so we can do this podcast for you. But we welcome you. We welcome you. We love that you're here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Subscribe to our channel after this episode if you think it's funny, and if you think that you want to come back and hear some more wild and crazy stories about who we are as women. The Women's Project is a place for only women, and we want you to share your stories, be free in Christ, and know that there is no shame and condemnation of what you've gone through in your life, and that God covers all of that, and that you can be free to laugh and talk about the things of your past, but also grow into your future. Summer, you and I came up with an incredible series title, which I think is hilarious to go into. And it is called, If I Knew at 20 What I Know Now at 40. You want to say something about that?
48. Gosh, that's
I'm
crazy.
40 and I'm 44. But we had some things in our 20s, right, that were wild and very questionable decisions that we've made. And what a way to kick off our podcast.
I know. Well, and I don't know about you, but when I had to sit down and really think about some things, I was like, I think it's just all of it. All of my 20s were just one giant mistake. And I was definitely a very different person. Wild, carefree, maybe a little too carefree, as my mom would say, but definitely was a risk taker and did not think that the rules ever applied to me. And I don't think they did.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah, I feel the same way. Same
definitely a very different person.
Well, before we get into this episode, let's break the ice a little bit. Let's get everybody a little bit comfortable and share with them who we are, and then break the ice with a very fun question you have for all of us. So I'm Ilonka Deaton. I'm a mom of 3 kiddos. I have an amazing husband. I have had quite the career in the music industry, and as a speaker and an advocate, trafficking. And, if you Google me, I'm all over the place, and I love what I do, and I love Jesus, and I love to sing. But I also realize that as life goes on, being a mom can be hard. When you have to juggle careers and family, as all of you know, it's a juggling act. And most of the time I feel like I live in a circus, juggling balls and trying to get done what I need to get done. But I love my life and I'm happy, and I'm a super, super Jesus freak. Love the Lord, came to the Lord in 2008, but it was a messy, bloody story, which you will hear all about. So how about you, Summer?
Well, I am a very proud mom of 2 sets of twin girls. Yes, you heard that right. I have 4 daughters. So my older girls actually will be 27 in a couple of weeks. Just
Wild.
insane. Wait, is today the 2nd?
Third.
April 3rd. Okay, so their birthday is May 2nd. And then I have 14-year-old twin daughters. So just call me Noah, 2 by 2. Um, I was in a different type of industry like Ilonka. I owned a bridal hair and makeup company that started in Southern California, and I've traveled all over the country, being around women. And I love, love, love women, the hearts of women, the stories of women. And so this just was a natural fit for us. But I have since retired from hair and makeup, thank goodness. But I also advocate for protecting women and children in today's upside down, crazy circus of a world. And I think that that I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that as we get into this a little bit more. But I'm super excited to be here, and I hope that my crazy life is a testimony to other women to also share their crazy life.
Yes, that's what we want. We want you to share your stories alongside of ours. So here's a little fun icebreaker question for all of you. I'll do my best to answer this question, Summer, if you want to ask me that. Icebreaker
do.
question you got.
Hold on. Give me 2 seconds because I got to pull up my phone, and I'm sitting in a sea of cords over here. I am going to take a photo of this, Ilonka, and we'll post it so people can see this, how funny this is. I mean,
So I'm laughing because my husband is a pro audio engineer, so I had to do zero setup. I had to do my hair, my makeup,
I hate you.
moves.
I had hair. My hair looked like yours. Not anymore.
And
'Cause I'm-
Summer has been sweating, trying to set up and holding the microphone because the stand that they sold her doesn't work for the microphone. And we actually have really good microphones, you know.
We have
They're
amazing
Shure
microphones.
SM7s. Yes. And
Fine.
so, but this is what it's all about. It's all
It's another
real.
memory.
It is another memory.
Here is the question. The definition of luxury is shifting. Time, quiet, boundaries. So, what feels like a luxury in your current season?
You know, that's a loaded question, Summer.
Mm-hmm. I know.
So
That's what I thought.
I have a 9, a 7, and a 4-year-old. So I have not pooped in private in probably 9 years.
Goodness.
I'm serious. I mean, I'm not trying to be crude or rude. I just haven't. There is no thing of taking my phone and browsing something or anything on the potty. If I go to the bathroom, I have a 4-year-old come in needing something. I have my extremely needy golden doodle that'll come in and eat something. And I will have somebody being hungry, thirsty, them needing to go to the potty, anything like that. So if I have a moment, probably if I'm traveling, and I travel some, where I'm even in the airport and I could go to the bathroom by myself, I really see that as a luxury. Like,
Okay.
for
I mean, I
real.
can understand going to the bathroom, but the pooping part had me. That's so invasive. But
Yeah,
what?
it
Maybe we
is.
should get you like an outhouse.
But they will.
We'll just get you a porta potty and we'll roll it in. No one will go out there.
My boys will, but my daughter won't.
Yes, they will. Yes,
I
they
mean,
will.
and even I don't know if this was like this for you when you were, for those of you with young kids, but why is it when you go to the bathroom? I mean, they'll come to the door even if you lock the door.
Oh.
They will
Little
knock. They'll
fingers underneath.
little
They're like,
fingers underneath it, and it's
know.
like they're dying. Something horrible is happening, you know? Oh, it's just hilarious. But
oh, it is. I don't, sorry. I definitely do not miss those days, but I do remember them. In fact, one of those Facebook memories popped up recently, and my daughter Reese, she did not ever want to give up the diaper. Ever.
Oh, yes.
And I have a photo. I think Eric just candidly, or one of my older girls, snapped a shot. And I have my laptop and I'm in the bathroom on the floor sitting there. And she's on the potty and just she's not using it, but and I'm just sitting there working, like trying to get this child to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, I can't, there's just nothing. Like you
You're
just
like, we're
don't
gonna
have it.
sit
There's no,
right here, right now, and you're gonna do this. I will work right here.
oh,
I
I
have
did.
one like that right now. He's 4.
I was
He's 4 now.
determined. Oh, no. In fact, the only way that we got her to actually go to the bathroom, and I'm not kidding, she was 5, was Eric, my husband, threatened her and said that she will have to sleep in the bathroom if she does not go to the potty. And that magically changed things. But the child was like, we were like, she's going to be in high school. And we're going to be like, Reese, you got to take your diaper off. Like, what is going on here? And she's like, it was just easier. And she was so honest about it because she was super smart. She's like, it's just easier for you to just change it. We're like,
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, if for those of you who are listening to this, we want to hear your stories about crazy moments with your kids, so comment on this video, tell us your crazy stories of what you went through with your kids and answer this icebreaker question like what is luxurious in your life right now? What do you consider luxurious in your life? Wow, that's such a great question, Summer. Well, so as we're getting into this series about things that we knew that we did in our 20s that we would never repeat in our 40s, or if we knew now what we knew then, things would be so different. And so I thought I would take the first stab at telling you a crazy, wild story of something that I went through. And this was after I'd given my life to the Lord. But I was quite the wild kid, I would say, in my 20s and made very questionable, decisions. Let me say it like this to you. If I knew at 20 what I know now at 40, I would seriously have had a come to Jesus talk with myself, like a sit down talk meeting. And let me just start with this. If I can go back, let me go back about almost 20 years. So this would be in 2008, beginning of 2009. I was at the time dating my husband, and we were getting engaged. We were recently engaged. So not dating, we were recently engaged, and we joined a church called Christ Community, and I'd given my life to the Lord at this church, and the church was just pouring into my life and sowing into me, and invited me to women's Bible studies and all kinds of things like that, and found out that I had a singing gift and that I loved to sing, and I'll just call this my exhibit A. So my exhibit A was my first time ever in my entire life leading worship in my upper 20s. All right. I'd never led worship in my life. I'd sang in bars, karaoke joints, weddings, bar mitzvahs, you name it. I've done all of that, but I never led worship in my life. Right. So I get invited to come and sing worship, and they asked me to sing What Becomes the Brokenhearted. That's like the gathering song because the pastor at that time liked to use secular music, Scotty Smith. And then they asked me to sing Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. Now getting the invitation was quite the honor for me. I was very excited, but I was also nervous because I knew like, what am I going to wear to, this? All of us as women, it's always our first question. What am I going to wear? I'll never forget this. Bill, my husband, was mixing a song for Amy Grant at that time, and we had a mixing studio at our home, and he was mixing it, and Natalie's husband Bernie was over at the house, and they were going over this mix, and I walked in, and they were having a break, and they were having coffee, and I said, Bill, I'm so concerned about what I'm gonna have to wear to this event, and we were all just kind of talking about what is appropriate, to wear, with concerts. And I'm sure like Natalie and everyone else, everybody has to think about this when you're going to go on stage. And in my mind, I came up with this idea, listening to them talk, that as long as I cover my body, it doesn't really matter what I wear. I just need to cover my body. right? So I saw a picture in my head of what I'm going to wear. And so I thought, okay, well, this is it. I'm going to do what's in my head. So here's what I wore. And this is 100% God's truth, right? I picked, a mini skirt, like a mini skirt, right?
Yes,
mini
girl.
skirt, like 80s mini skirt, that I bought at an antique store. I picked a turtleneck shirt
You
because
bought it at an antique store?
yeah, antique store. Yeah. You know how sometimes they'll have clothing pieces in antique stores?
Yes.
Yeah, how they have
Yes.
like, robes, or sometimes they'll have like a little section of like 60s clothing.
I don't know that I've seen skirts.
Yeah, I bought a skirt.
Oh, girl.
Bought a
Okay.
skirt. Mini skirt, and then I wore a turtleneck shirt, which was all, covered everything up here. There was no cleavage showing. And because obviously, that cancels everything else out, right? No, but kind of, sort of, I thought in my mind that it would. But wait, it gets absolutely better. The shoes was like the kicker. I had bought shoes at Hustler before I gave my
Yes,
life
me
to
too.
Jesus. Like, that was a go-to place for me to get shoes because they had really nice stilettos, and, and there's a brand called Naughty Monkey that kind of your foot, it really fits well on your foot or my foot. And I just, I like Naughty Monkey shoes. And so I wore my Naughty Monkey shoes with stockings, and I had the mini skirt and I had the turtleneck, and I was off to go and sing worship. So here I am at church. Fast forward, I'm at church. We're up there, and we go into the worship set, and it's Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord Michael W. Smith. And when the first chorus hits of that song, I am overtaken by the Holy Spirit. And what I mean by that is my arms like flung up in the air. I'd never raised my hands somewhere in my life in church. My hands go up in the air, and I am worshiping the Lord, and my hands are up in the air, and I can't believe what's happening to me, and I'm feeling so alive.
You're in a moment.
I'm in the
It was
moment.
a moment.
I'm going high, and as high as I'm going, and that high is how my skirt went. So as the
Well,
hands went,
How short was this skirt? Like, was it
Daisy
give me
Duke.
from knee raise?
No.
So,
It was
your
Daisy
hoo
Duke.
ha showing?
It was Daisy Duke short.
Okay,
Daisy
so
Duke short.
was your hoo ha hanging out?
It was barely right there when my hands were raised. Yeah.
Girl.
So I think the service was one of the most watched services online.
I'm sure
for
it
the
was.
church, But I didn't know that at the moment. I was extremely excited that, I was getting to sing worship, and did not think at all that going to church in Hustler shoes is inappropriate. And don't forget about my hair was like Texas. At the time I had like 400 pieces of extensions in my hair. And so I
Yeah.
was like a mane, like a lion, like a lioness. I was
I'm
showing
sure
up
you went in there roaring, girl.
lips, jewelry, you name it, you got it. And I was just so happy that I got to do that. So years and years and years later, which this is so full circle for me, because years later I found out that after that church service, the church committee or the board actually went to the worship director at the time, and they said to him, "Hey, you got to talk to her about, her clothes. She can't sing worship like that." And he never ever
So
came to
judgmental.
me and reprimanded me. And apparently, he told them, "You don't want to do that because she had just given her life to the Lord. You're going to push her away from church." And I don't know about you, Summer, but how many times have you seen someone in church to where automatically we just judge people? And we're like, they don't look like they fit here. But I was that girl, I didn't fit there. I didn't look like, the beautiful beach pictures on the wall. And I looked odd. I looked misplaced, in my Hustler shoes, in my mini skirt, with my bright lipstick and all of this.
You
But-
look like you were going to work that night, if you know what I mean.
You betcha. You betcha.
Okay, this is the funniest thing.
And so I think that what I learned, from that is, one, not to judge, but two, through my own mind and God revealing to me just by merely observing things around me, it's like, okay, this is not how I'm supposed to dress, right? But today, I'm not ashamed of that at all. I'm okay with saying, gosh, I came into church super broken, super unreliable, not making good decisions, looking like a mess, not having that chapter of my life and my story perfect, and people still met me. I'll never ever forget when I got off stage and you kind of have to go around to get back into the sanctuary. I was trying to get back to Bill, and this lady in her 80s, this old lady, short lady, kind of met me halfway, She must have been on her way to the bathroom or something. She met me and she just said to me, she just looked at me and she said, you must be new to Jesus. And I was just like,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, bless
I am,
her.
all right. Now I know why she said that, right? But
Yeah.
she didn't judge me, not knowing my story, or what I'd been through or what I was currently walking through, but was accepting of me. And so it's given me a lot of freedom to talk about that. So if you've shown up at church wearing something questionable, I want to hear about it. I want to know what you've done, and see where God met you, or maybe he's still meeting you there, and that's quite all right. And I'll tell you what, I still have that pair of shoes.
Of course you
I
do.
still have that pair of Naughty Monkey
You're going to have
shoes.
to wear them for us. We have to see them.
They're stunning and they're beautiful. And I'm not ashamed of that part of my life. Now, do I go into Huster still? No, I don't. I've made that decision not to do that.
Probably
Since
a
God
good
saved me, that's a
decision,
good
Ilonka.
decision. But I'm not ashamed, for the shame and the
Absolutely
guilt and
not.
condemnation of all of that. But so that's my church story about leading worship the first time.
The
And
most downloaded service. Can't imagine why.
it makes me
She's got legs. And Jesus. So funny. When I read that, I was like, I think I texted you. I was like, oh, Ilonka, I need a picture. I've got to see a photo of this because I just have to see a photo of
we
this.
just gotta laugh about it now. I mean,
Well, and you have beautiful legs, so
you know
there's
that
that.
moment in the Christmas story where he pulls the lamp out
Oh, yes.
and he puts the lamp, and the wife is like just eyes down, like, oh my gosh, this is so shameful, this is so terrible. I can only imagine, when I stepped on stage and people looked at me going, oh, this cannot happen.
But I love that you had a moment. You were it like Jesus met you. And I think that's the most beautiful part is truly it doesn't matter if you look like a hooker or not.
Oh, exactly. And you know what? He didn't care.
He doesn't care. He was just so glad you were there. He was like, she's lifting her hands to me. Yes.
Can you imagine the conversation in heaven? Like, she's wearing what? We'll get to it. Don't worry about that.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that later. We'll work on that later. Right now, just let her raise her hands. It'll get comfortable,
Amen.
Get in the Holy Spirit. And so
it.
it's good to laugh about these things, and not to take ourselves too seriously, and to remember those moments that, you know what? We don't have it all together. We're not perfect. God never promised or offered us a perfect life. Jesus is the only perfect one. And we do have these broken pieces and laughable moments and bad decisions that we've gone through. But somehow, by the grace of God, he always meets us there so that we can grow and we can learn from that. And hopefully when we see someone that looks like a hooker walking into the church, we will not judge her, but maybe go
take him under our wing
and say, hey, you look like fun. Maybe you can come and sit with me and what's your name? We can,
that's right.
We can talk about it. But so it's great learning lessons and yeah. So I wanted to share that with you.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I definitely want to hear other people's stories about that. I know that they're out there and I'm sure that they're equally as funny. I do not have a story like that about church, unfortunately. Or fortunately to many people.
I'm sure you have other stories,
Oh boy, do I. I can't wait to share mine.
And so for those of you listening, so here at the Women's Project, we want to invite you into just what we did, to be real, to be raw, to talk about your life. And please know that this is not a place where you have to have it all together or all figured out. We are here to journey with you in it. We are in it together, I would say. And we're here because he has met us in the middle of it all and somehow redeemed even the most embarrassing moments of our lives. And so we invite you into that, to let your hair down, to journey through the real moments with us, with no shame, no guilt, and no condemnation. We always want you to know that you are wanted, loved, known, and accepted just the way that you are, and not because we say so, because God's word says so about your life. just the truth of who you are is enough, and of who God says you are is enough. And so I have not sung in a church since then in a miniskirt, nor am I planning on singing in a miniskirt. I still love to lead worship, and this is just where we are. So we're going to move forward from here.
That's right. Well, and I also want to just say, if you haven't been to our website, we would love to have you go take a visit and a peek around. It's always updating and improving, but we will post our blog after each episode because we have a blog post to go with this with some devotions. But we just really want you to feel like you're part of a community of real women. And as Ilonka said, there is nothing that is off the table, and you will learn about that in a little bit. But if there is a specific topic that you want us to discuss or you want to write in about, we would love, love, love to hear it. And you can just go to hello at the woman, Ilonka. Her
Woman.
accent, it's really hard for her to say woman.
Woman.
There you go, baby.
Woman.
The
Woman.
womanproject.net. And just let us know what you think. And again, if you have criticism, keep that to yourself. Just tell us all the good things you like about our show. Just kidding.
We have some incredible merchandise. Hat.
Yep.
Incredible
Can't
shirt.
see it because of my setup today, but the next
Incredible
time when I'm in a
shirt.
fancy studio.
So you can visit our store,
So cute.
and we will hopefully see you on our next episode. So if you like this, please share it. Please like it. And if you didn't like it, then you know what? We're glad that you were here for as long as you were. God bless you for
That's
that.
right.
Absolutely. So with that said, we'll see you next time on episode 2 of the Woman Project.
Woman.
Woman.
It's her
Project.
accent. It's that accent of yours, girl.
Oh,
We're
we'll
going to get
see.
you to say it.
We'll see you next time.
Have a great day, ladies.
Thank you. Bless you.